seeker. So take a lesson from Madison Avenue. Often the fewer words, the more effective the message. Like Jiffy Lube, where you never need an appointment. Or the Office Max ad that says, you supply the ambition, we supply everything else. How about online ticket broker StubHub.com, the way in when it's sold out? Or CyberCupidMatch.com's seductive, go ahead, it's okay to look. How cleverly and succinctly can you distill your message? For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
You're 6 minutes away from a live episode of Free Talk Live, brought to you by freekeen.com. Listen live at freetalklive.com.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, September 20th, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.32 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,313 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 3.9 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $3,947. Antiwar.com reports with Defense Secretary James Mattis reiterating that the U.S. goal is diplomacy with North Korea. The effort appears to be heading as far away from diplomacy as humanly possible. Indeed, Mattis confirmed recent discussions with his South Korean counterpart centered on the possibility of the U.S. using tactical nukes against North Korea. Mattis said it was important for the sake of open dialogue with allies to discuss issues like unleashing tactical nuclear weapons on their neighbors to the north. He did not elaborate on the U.S. position, though South Korea's President Moon has ruled out hosting U.S. nuclear arms. The issue appears to be divisive in South Korea, with Defense Minister Song Young-moo advocating such a move, and suggestions are that he was the one that brought up the issue with Mattis in the first place. The U.S. held nuclear arms in South Korea through 1991, withdrawing them at the end of the Cold War. Strategic Command Chief General John Hyten rejected the idea of even calling the weapons tactical, though that designation refers to them being smaller than strategic U.S. nukes. He insisted that there was not a chance the U.S. would bring a nuclear weapon into battle for tactical effect, but only as a strategic retaliation, which isn't the official U.S. position at all. Indeed, U.S. officials have regularly spurned no first strike proposals and have held out the possibility of preemptively nuking other nations. Advocates have argued ruling out such attacks would be seen as a sign of weakness and hurt U.S. flexibility in starting nuclear wars. In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. UPI reports drugstore chain Walgreens received approval from U.S. regulators to purchase nearly 2,000 Rite Aid stores. The $4.375 billion deal will give Walgreens control of 1,932 Rite Aid stores across the United States. Walgreens originally attempted to buy the entire Rite Aid company, but U.S. antitrust regulators frowned on the deal, causing the drugstore giant to eventually abandon its plan and settle for 254 fewer stores. The company said the Rite Aid stores that are being acquired are primarily in the Northeast and Southern United States and will eventually be rebranded as Walgreens. Walgreens CEO Stefano Pessina said in a press release, combining Walgreens' retail pharmacy network with a strong portfolio of Rite Aid locations is expected to help us achieve enhanced sustainable growth while enabling us to broaden our reach and provide greater access to convenient, affordable care in more local neighborhoods across the United States. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports Attorney General Jeff Sessions stepped up to the Trump administration's critique of so-called sanctuary cities on Tuesday, saying local and state policies to limit cooperation with immigration enforcement are a criminal's best friend. The remarks by Sessions at a gathering of law enforcement authorities in Portland, Oregon, came days after repudiation of his stance against the sanctuary movement and separate actions by a federal judge in Chicago and the California legislature. The judge in Chicago on Friday barred the DOJ from withholding public safety grants to cities unless they allow U.S. immigration authorities unlimited access to local jails and provide 48 hours notice before releasing individuals sought for deportation. On Saturday, lawmakers in California voted to make California a sanctuary state, approving a bill barring local governments from forcing undocumented immigrants to spend extra time in jail just to allow immigration agents to take them into custody. But under a compromise negotiated with Governor Jerry Brown, the bill allows local police to notify the federal government if they have arrested an undocumented immigrant with a felony record. It also allows immigration agents access to local jails. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Saying that he was giving his coworkers at Marley Publishing just a few more days to catch on to him, local mentally unstable man Michael Redding told reporters he planned on exhibiting 1 or 2 more warning signs this week before, quote, finally doing this.
I think I'll do just a couple of disconcerting things in front of people here at the office. Maybe give them a day or two to take action through the appropriate channels. But if that doesn't happen, then I'm going through with it.
The fully unhinged Redding, who plans on, quote, making this thing happen sometime next week, claims that despite displaying erratic and worrisome behavior around the office for the past few months, his actions have gone completely unreported by his coworkers.
I definitely talked about my frustration with life in general, and I even discussed my fascination with all sorts of violence. But that still didn't throw up any red flags. We'll see if anyone catches on.
Mike? I don't know him super well, but he's nice enough. He's quiet and he keeps to himself mostly, but I'm sure he'll come out of his shell. Just a matter of time.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. We'll give you the toll-free call-in line here momentarily where you can join us and bring up whatever is on your mind. The us in studio tonight is Darryl.
And Matt.
And Matt, I don't think you've ever actually been on Free Talk Live before. You've been in the Keene area for a couple of years. And, you know, this was one of those things to where, you know, we pulled you off the bench last minute, said, you know what, the starting pitcher didn't show up. I need to go to the bullpen early. And luckily, you didn't have to work tonight. And you said, yeah, I can come in for a little bit until Ian and Jay show up.
Literally off the bench.
Yes. So, you know, hopefully this goes as smoothly as I think it will in my head. And I'm fairly certain that last night, Ian and whoever else was on the show with him last night talked about the secession vote in Catalonia, because that's something that is planned. It's scheduled to take place. Key word there is scheduled to take place October 1st. And, well, antiwar.com broke a story earlier today. Thomas Harrington writing, and this, again, from Thomas Harrington, antiwar.com. He says, I just got off the phone with Joseph Maria Soles Sabata, my friend and a leading Catalan historian and public intellectual. He was nothing short of breathless as he described the helicopters flying overhead, stating flatly that he was in the midst of a coup being carried out by the Spanish government. He wanted to get in touch with me and others, quote-unquote, out there, because he was not sure how much longer free communication would be available to him and others in the streets protesting against the Spanish central government's arrest of members of the Catalan autonomous government. Now, let me sort of explain what's going on. Catalonia is a semi-autonomous region in Spain. It's the northeast area. Matt, you just pulled up a map. And, you know, the Mediterranean side, Barcelona is the largest city in Catalonia. And the people in Catalonia, again, had a independence vote scheduled for October 1st. The Spanish central government has been doing everything they could, well, prior to today, everything that they could, quote unquote, within the system to try to stop this vote from happening. And, well, apparently the reports are now they're just arresting Catalan government agents. And when I explained this to you, you said, well, it's not really a secession of, people are taking over the government. And I said, no, it's the larger government taking over the smaller to prevent them from even having the vote. The story begins as of this writing, and again, this came out about 10 o'clock this morning. As of this writing, at least 6 agencies of the Catalan government have been the object of forced police searches, and 13 mostly mid-level members of the Catalan government have been arrested. The homes of 2 of the leading architects of the incipient Catalan state, Carles Viver P. y Sunyer and ex-Spanish judge Santi Vidal, have been searched by the police. The headquarters of the far-left CUP, part of the pro-vote coalition in the Catalan parliament, has been surrounded by police. Now, just because, we're fans of secession, at least I am, and several of the other hosts are, Matt, what is your position on secession?
I'm all about individual secession, obviously.
Yep.
But as far as Spain goes, I don't know anything about the what's going on in Catalonia, but I do have a little bit of history in what happened in northeastern Spain over the past decades with the Basque movement. I'm familiar with the Basque movement, and that's not
that's
very
a
far
different territory from Catalonia, and there's actually some very interesting genetic. I don't want to say anomalies with the Basque people, but they're not directly related to the other people in the Iberian Peninsula. So it's one of those things of where did they come from? Who exactly are they related to? So, if you're into, genetic sort of stuff, that's just something that is a little interesting. But what did you find out about the Basque region?
Well, the Basque, there's been basically a secessionist movement of their own there there was until like 2010, I think, for 50 or 60 years.
Right.
So I'm wondering if this will kind of re-agitate any of that.
Right, and I think the reason the Spanish central government is trying to shut down this particular secession vote is they know, wait a second, if this domino falls over, that could wind up toppling others. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Continuing, what I was going to say is, we're generally fans of secession. Certainly, we would prefer to see more freedom after, an area secedes from a larger government. But if somebody wants to secede and start their own little socialist paradise for themselves, yeah, go for it. Just, don't force that stuff on us. And it seems like, the Catalans certainly want more government, not less, but more power to you. Just, again, don't try to force that on me. Continuing here, it says the leader of the Catalan National Congress, Jordi Sanchez, and the head of Òmnium, a major Catalan cultural organization, Jordi Cujar, has...
Wait. Say that first name again.
Jordi?
Jordi, I think you said dirty.
No, Jordi with a J, although I'm guessing the J is probably silent in Spanish, so it would be Jordi, but...
Even better.
I digress. So 2 people named Jordi, one Sanchez, the other Cujar, has called Catalans to come into the streets, and they've responded with a massive presence. The mayor of Barcelona, Ada Colau, has also been highly ambivalent regarding the referendum that is scheduled to take place on October 1st, has now come out firmly for the referendum and against the crackdown taking place. Albano Dante Fachin, head of the Podemos branch in Catalonia, which has been similarly ambivalent, is now off the fence, fully supporting the right to decree and denouncing the aggression of the Spanish state. So what you have here is Spanish central government cracking down, saying you're not allowed to vote. And now some of the people that have fairly high positions in the Catalan region that previously had said, hey, we're not taking a position here. Now that they see this crackdown, they're saying, you know what? Yeah, we support it. Let's get the Spanish feds out of here. And I wonder if something similar could happen in the United States. If one of the, I believe there are now 3 different variants of CalExit that are collecting petitions in California. So if any of those or all of those wind up getting enough petitions to get on the ballot in California, and the feds say, you're not allowed to have this vote, will it then wind up getting, high-level people in California that previously weren't necessarily in support to say, you know what, yeah, we just need to go ahead and leave? And then would that have, that domino effect to where you have high-level officials in other states saying, yeah, we just need to go ahead and leave? Continuing here, the Catalan president has called an extraordinary meeting of his government. The president of the Catalan parliament has gone there to join him. And again, as of about 10, 11 o'clock this morning, the 2 presidents, the president of Catalonia and the president of the parliament, were currently in meetings in the Generalitat Palace, home of the government, meeting with his ministers. Crowds outside in the St. James Square in the very heart of the city of Barcelona, where both the Generalitat and the City Hall are located. People are lying down in the Via Latania, a short walk away, one of the city's main thoroughfares. So looks like people are out in the streets protesting the Spanish central government crackdown of the upcoming Catalan independence vote.
It's only a good thing.
Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
Ron Paul, Judge Napolitano, Jesse Ventura, Dennis Kucinich, Roger Ver, Colin and Jim Cantrell, Jordan Page, and Tatiana Moroz. Top minds in aerospace, cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, fine arts, politics, and finance, all at the Nexus Conference in Aspen, Colorado, September the 21st through the 23rd. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Get your tickets now at nexus.freetalklive.com. New ideas and new opportunities all to be had on September the 21st through the 23rd. Nexus.freetalklive.com.
Have you wanted to get into Bitcoin mining but don't want to deal with the hassle and frustration of operating the mining hardware? Let pool.bitcoin.com handle it for you like I did. Just visit pool.bitcoin.com and use their calculator to estimate what you could end up making. You get to decide which Bitcoin you want to mine. If you already have mining equipment, you're invited to join pool.bitcoin.com. Get all the details and get started mining Bitcoin at pool.bitcoin.com.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is Digital Cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Dash is set up to succeed where other platforms have failed. Give it a try at dash.org. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at dash.org.
If you want to promote your business, organization, website, or club, radio is a great way to reach a lot of people. And because the ads are low cost, you can reach them a lot more often. Repetition builds reputation, and ads with audio are just more convincing than print or digital. If you need local people, please contact this station. If you can sell nationally, I'd love to help. Free Talk Live is nationally syndicated on more than 170 radio stations, and we have a large and loyal podcast audience. Check out our packages at advertise.freetalklive.com. If you need something custom, contact me, Mark at freetalklive.com.
Are you making sense to the boomer mindset? I'm Holland Cook from survivalspeech.com. 80 million baby boomers comprise 25% of the population and control most of the USA's wealth. As aging parents pass on, they'll control more. Boomers are 46 to 65 years old and regard themselves as midlife. They identify as neither young nor old. They're post-minivan and pre-retirement, and they don't like being called boomers. They think me. Many of the purchases boomer couples make are individual purposes. They've been experimenters all their lives. If you want their attention, tell stories and keep it simple. If something seems complicated, boomers can dismiss it as, I don't need this. And if you're looking for work, you may be applying to a boomer, so relate accordingly. From survivalspeech.com, I'm Holland Cook.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio tonight, it's Darryl.
And Matt.
And we'll get back into the story out of Catalonia. But first, I've got a question for you. Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Then consider joining Dash. Dash is digital cash. It's a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast, it can be private, can be easy. Well, it is very easy. The fees are low, and in some cases, the transactions can be confirmed instantly. You can pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime for just pennies. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Anyone can invest in Dash and earn rewards for helping run the network. Join Dash and help create a better financial system for everyone. Take back control over your financial future today. Find out more at dash.org. There's a lot of momentum behind Dash, so go right now to dash.org and find out why. Talking about the situation in Catalonia, where there was and I guess still is, a secession vote referendum scheduled for October 1st in Catalonia. However, antiwar.com earlier today reporting that the Spanish central government has taken over Catalan government buildings, trying to stop that vote from happening completely. And the LA Times has more information here. This story, a little more recent, coming out just a couple of hours ago, says after years of largely ignoring Catalan separatists, Spain's central government moved decisively to halt preparations for an independence referendum in its Catalonia region, where memories of repression under the Franco dictatorship still linger. Now, this reminds me, and I'm surprised that neither article thus far have mentioned what happened a couple days ago, where some Spanish government agents were going into various offices, regional or municipal offices, asking mayors, where are the ballots? Just trying to, collect the ballot, because if you don't have ballots, you can't have any election. So where are the ballots? Sounds, like something that an oppressive government would do, right?
It's a little threatening.
The article here continues. The Spanish Central Guard, a national paramilitary force, raided more than 20 regional government officers and institutions in the Catalan capital of Barcelona detaining at least 14 separatist officials for their roles in organizing the secession vote that Spain considers unconstitutional. Those held include aides to Catalonia's vice president. Civil guards also raided a warehouse in a rural industrial park north of Barcelona, seizing nearly 10 million paper ballots as well as referendum posters and voter registry logs. Now, I wonder, and this might be a little bit of a conspiracy theory sort of thing going on here, but I wonder who all's on this voter registry. Is this a special registry to where people had to go register to vote in the referendum vote, or is this just the regular voter registration rolls of everybody that's just registered to vote? The article continues. Protest erupted in the city in response, with crowds filling Las Ramblas, the main pedestrian thoroughfare that is home to one of the government offices where politicians were detained in early morning raids. Several thousand people chanted while blocking the streets, "We will vote." Several hundred protesters also gathered late Wednesday in Madrid's central Puerta del Sol Square, meaning the Port of the Sun. And Liz Castro, a Catalan American author and activist, said on her way to join the protest, "There's a feeling of defiance, anger, and incredulousness that people are seeing what they saw under the Franco regime. There's nothing wrong with asking people who act peacefully to vote on their future, but Spain just doesn't get it. They go back to tanks and pressure and police." Like the neighboring Basque region, which you did mention earlier, Matt, Catalonia has its own language, its own culture, and both were repressed under the nearly 40-year rule of General Francisco Franco, who died in 1975. In recent decades, it has become Spain's most prosperous region, accounting for about 20% of the country's economy and more than a quarter of Spanish exports. Barcelona, one of Europe's biggest tourist hubs, is also in Catalonia. Many Catalans say they resent having their taxes subsidize poorer parts of Spain, especially during a punishing economic crisis from which the country has only just emerged. Catalonia is one of 17 autonomous regions which enjoy local powers to set policy for education, healthcare, and other services, but they rely on the central government for tax collection. The region has a population of about 7.5 million people. Joseph Carrera, a health researcher in Barcelona and recent convert to the independence cause, said, "I want independence because I think we could do much better if we were a country and could administer our own resources." Opinion polls show Catalans are roughly evenly divided on whether to break away from Spain, but a majority simply want the right to vote on the question. There's definitely more here, but what are your thoughts so far on, should people have the right to, have a say of whether or not they want, some larger government over them?
Well, I think any decentralization is good decentralization, right? So, even if they're just taking out a state, one state is removing itself from the overall equation. I don't think it's going to be a deal breaker economically by any stretch of the imagination. Or two states. It's not like people are going to stop talking to each other because some formalities cease to exist.
But different language and different culture.
Oh my God, it's all over with. What will we do without the state to help us make those connections?
The article continues. Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy insists that it is prohibited, that being secession, prohibited under the 1978 Spanish Constitution, which enshrines the country's unity. This month, the Constitutional Court suspended 2 Catalan regional laws that lay out a framework for the October 1st referendum, as well as plans for secession if yes wins the vote. National officials in Madrid ordered police to block polling stations, and prosecutors were preparing charges against more than 700 Catalan mayors who had agreed to allow voting in municipal buildings. In response to reporters' questions about whether the government was being heavy-handed with Wednesday's raids, Rajoy said he believes no democratic state in the world would accept this. What are your thoughts? Would any democratic country in the world accept people deciding whether or not to be part of that democratic country? 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
In an emergency, you need a fire now. But what if the wood is wet? No problem for InstaFire. Our non-toxic fire starter packs light wet wood, can even burn on water or in any weather, sustains winds up to 30 miles per hour, and each pouch weighs only 1.75 ounces. Need an emergency stove? Get the InstaFire Inferno stove that boils water in under 3 minutes. Temps up to 1,500 degrees. Free shipping on anything. Go to instafire.com/radio specials and get yours today. InstaFire. Fire in an instant. Instafire.com/radio specials.
You've heard the phrase, you are what you eat? Not true. Actually, you are what you can absorb. So if the vitamins and supplements you now take are not being absorbed, what good are they? Introducing Protovite, proprietary liquid system that allows premium quality nutrients to positively affect the blood in an astonishing 5 minutes. Watch our amazing 2-minute live blood cell video at TrueHealthFacts.com. That's TrueHealthFacts.com. Then call 502-410-3411. Protovite is nutrition you can feel. Protovite is nutrition that gets in.
Free Talk Live.
I'm sure I can speak for many of thousands. I don't fear illegals. I don't want them here and their filth that they bring with and the disease that they bring with.
All the people who work in the stores and the markets and the restaurants are overwhelmingly Hispanic, and they seem very clean and be doing a fine job here, and I've never heard anything about problems with disease.
For you to defend the illegal immigrants, and I'm not sure, as I said earlier, which host at what time is very condescending.
Madam, I will defend anybody that is peaceful and looking for a better life for themselves. We already pointed out.
I don't defend them. I wish that people like you.
You say that Mexicans are filthy and you call me condescending, lady? You say they're disease-ridden and filthy and I'm condescending?
And they are. And
You're outrageous. Get out of here. Thank you for the call.
She's had all her rope. She's hung herself.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio tonight, it's Darryl.
And Matt.
And we're talking about the goings-on in Catalonia from earlier today. Why are things going on in Catalonia? Well, the Spanish central government doesn't like the fact that the Catalan autonomous government is planning a secession vote on October 1st. We'll get back into this here in just a second. But first, I want to ask you to do us a favor. Now, I realize that, a lot of people do listen to the show on the radio because we are a broadcast radio show. We're on about 170 stations coast to coast. Not necessarily all of those every night, but there's also a lot of people that only listen to the podcast version of this show. And if you're one of the people that listens to the podcast, then take a moment and leave us a rating and a review. If you use iTunes, rate, review on iTunes. If you don't use iTunes, then go to Stitcher or one of the other podcast sort of aggregation service things. Leave a rating, an honest rating, and an honest review. We don't want people, leaving phony 5-star reviews. We don't want people leaving phony 1-star reviews. But if you, give us a solid 4, that's better than a fake 5. It really, really is. So rate, review, and then that allows more people that are searching for liberty-oriented podcasts to find the show. And then it expands the ideas of liberty a little bit. Again, please leave us a rating, leave us a review. Back to the article, and again, this update coming from the LA Times, a little more detailed than what we read from antiwar.com. The Spanish, who is this? The Spanish Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy insists that the independence vote in Catalonia is prohibited under the Spanish Constitution from 1978, which enshrines the country's unity.
I was going to kick in on that. It enshrines the country's unity. That sounds pretty religious to me.
Right. And, this is one of the things, sort of, to tie this into the aforementioned CalExit, where the Constitution of the state of California mentions something about being part of the United States of America. Well, here's the wonderful thing. Not that I think that national constitutions are wonderful things, but the wonderful thing about documents that are created by humans, they can be amended. It might be rather difficult to amend them, but they can be amended. I come from the state that has the most amended constitution in the world.
Really?
Alabama. That constitution's been amended several hundred times.
Really?
Yes.
Tell me about this.
And, one of the reasons that document gets amended so much is Alabama largely is not a home rule state. So if the county commissioners of some county want to do something, they have to ask the legislature to allow them to do it, which means the state constitution has to be amended to allow them to do something. So there are amendments to the Alabama Constitution that deal with only one county or only one city. And, there are amendments that amend other amendments. It's absolutely ridiculous. But as far as I am aware, it's the most amended document written in human history with, again, several hundred. I think it's close to like 700 amendments to this Constitution that was adopted in 1901. So we're not even talking about something as old as the U.S. Constitution adopted in the late 1700s. This thing's 116 years old.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. But continuing here, Prime Minister Rajoy said that Wednesday's crackdown risked handing Catalan separatists a public relations victory, with unseemly images of paramilitary troops escorting away elected officials as citizens pled for the right to vote. Well, if he thinks that, this is going to hand them a victory, then why did he wind up, authorizing this or allowing this to happen if it's going to do the complete opposite of what he wants? The article here continues. According to Gabriela Bustelo, a Madrid-based political analyst who has studied California's separatist movement, said any country that cannot get a nationalist problem under control, that worsens its image. The separatists who dominate Catalonia's regional administration insist the October 1st vote is a democratic exercise and have appealed to Europe for support. A multinational team of European observers are expected in Barcelona for the vote, but no European Union country has said they would recognize an independent Catalonia. After an emergency cabinet meeting on Wednesday, Catalonia's regional president, Carles Puigdemont, gave a televised speech decrying what he called coordinated aggression by the Spanish state. He said Spain has de facto suspended the self-governance of Catalonia and has applied a de facto state of emergency. Freedoms are being suspended and repressed. The Spanish Constitution has a provision, Article 155, that enables the government in Madrid to revoke self-rule in any region, but that article has not actually been invoked.
Well, so they're just doing it.
Catalonia is recognized as being a somewhat autonomous region in Spain. The Spanish Constitution has a provision where Spanish central government can revoke that self-rule. They've not done it. They just decided to send in the federales and arrest some people, and not sure if they've actually cracked any heads, but stolen some ballots and threatened people with jail time. But the statement here that no European country or no European Union country has said they would recognize an independent Catalonia kind of reminds me of sort of that state of limbo that Kosovo is in, where Kosovo several years ago declared independence, and there's only a handful of countries that recognize them as being independent.
Well, big mafia bosses only really recognize other big mafia bosses as being legitimate. So,
right, but I think the U.S. is one of the handful of countries that does, to some extent, recognize Kosovo, and I don't know of any bigger mafia boss than the U.S. federal government.
Fair, but what cui bono there? I mean, what is the purpose of the United States government recognizing Kosovo?
Something about NATO, I believe. Because the U.S. was involved in that Bosnian-Serbian conflict back in the 90s, and Kosovo was part of, I forget if it was Bosnia or Serbia, but kind of right there in the middle. And there are countries that I use that term sort of loosely because while there is kind of a definition of country, it largely depends on other countries recognizing you. But like South Ossetia, which is really only recognized by other countries that are trying to wind up getting recognition. And one of those countries does have recognition, I think, from Russia, but nobody else. And it's one of these weird sort of things. And I am fascinated with the concept of what are essentially considered fourth world countries. Now, first world, and this is something where, yes, I know the definitions kind of change a little bit, but first world were the countries aligned with the United States during the Cold War. Second world were the countries aligned with Russia or the Soviet Union during the Cold War. Third world were the countries not aligned with either. So Switzerland, technically a third world country. Fourth world are micronations, which are countries that have no international recognition. So Liberland is a fourth world country, as is South Ossetia and the Free State of Darryl. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
Crimes of the Crown by Captain Mark. The Crown casts the world in shadow and claims to be our guiding light. Cowards clamor for security from boogeymen and ghost stories, while I say these hobgoblins are imaginary. I say those they propped up as our liberators are now subsisting on our bondage. I say there is freedom in the black, and that's exactly where we intend to go. The Crown banishes its own officers for exposing its crimes and tortures dissidents to the brink of madness. It dominates the globe and swallows the wealth of generations, leaving only blood and excrement. The Crown calls it piracy to explore frontiers beyond its grasp. So the time has come for us to define the conduct among pirates. I say the Crown has trampled our necks long enough. Need decentralized solutions to centralized problems? Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels? Or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com. We won't be hard to find.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. For years, LRN.FM has had a listen line that you can call and listen to LRN.FM anytime. Now we're taking the idea to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line. You can call 641-793-9660 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed, and you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 641-793-9660 and choose from the menu 641-793-9660.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live, 855 450 free. That's 855-450-3733. In studio, it's Darryl.
And Matt.
And Bitcoin.com is a website that you can go to and mine Bitcoin without having to worry about upgrading your own equipment, buying expensive equipment, paying a huge electric bill, maintaining your equipment. How can you do this? Well, you simply go to pool.bitcoin.com. There's a 100% uptime guarantee. The website is easy to use, and you can even calculate your estimated return on investment right there on the website at pool.bitcoin.com. Not just that, but you can also help steer Bitcoin towards the liberating currency that Satoshi Nakamoto meant it to be. You're not just making money at pool.bitcoin.com. You're doing activism while you sleep. Pool.bitcoin.com. We're talking about Catalonia. Why? Well, because the Spanish central government has decided to, as the Pentagon would put it, have a show of force. And by that, I mean they're going in and taking over Catalan regional buildings. They've arrested some high-level people within the Catalan government. Early reports are at least 14 people have been arrested. Various Catalan buildings, at least 20 of them, have been raided and searched by the Spanish Civil Guard, which is a national paramilitary force. And in Barcelona, again, at least 14 separatist officials were detained for their roles in organizing the secession vote scheduled for October 1st. Again, Catalonia, somewhat autonomous within the country of Spain, and the Spanish Constitution has a provision, Article 155, that enables the Spanish central government to revoke self-rule of a region. That article has not been invoked. Instead, the Spanish central government just going in and ransacking the place. The article here from the LA Times continues. Catalonia did hold an independence vote in 2014, and voters did favor secession, but turnout was low, and Catalan officials acknowledged that it was a non-binding vote. This time, however, they vowed to declare independence from Spain within 48 hours if the yes vote wins. An independent Catalonia would probably have to leave the European Union, at least temporarily, before applying for membership as a new country. It's unclear what currency it would use. Spain uses the euro. Now, I'm going to pause here for a second to say that the issue of money is what sort of scared the Scots into staying in the UK. Do you remember this story at all? You remember the Scottish secession vote from a couple years ago?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so
I forgot all about that, actually. Sad that I did.
Well, one of the things that came out of where is that? Winchester Abbey or whatever Abbey or Castle or what Buckminster Palace or whatever it is.
Dave's Big Rock House.
They wound up saying, well, Scotland, if you wind up leaving, you can't use the pound anymore. Which, on the one hand, absolutely ridiculous. They could call their currency whatever they wanted to call the currency. The Scottish national government, which, technically Scotland is a nation inside of a kingdom. The Scottish national government does control a printing press, the Scottish National Bank, which is one of, I think, 4 banks authorized to print the British pound. Yet, you could call it the pound, it just wouldn't be the British pound. You'd have to change the face on it from the Queen to, hopefully
Austin
a unicorn
Powers.
Or something.
Austin Powers. Austin Powers is Scottish, wasn't he? Or no?
No. He was not Scottish.
I'm confusing 2 Mike Myers characters there.
Yeah.
It's not Scottish, it's crap.
But, just put the Scottish coat of arms. It's got a unicorn in the Scottish coat of arms. You just slap that on the front of the currency. But you could call it a pound if you wanted to. You could call it a dollar. You could call it a, poller, which is, like merging pound and dollar. Call it a dound. I don't care. But, there was just this whole fearmonger of you can't call it the pound. As if the British central government owns the copyright and the intellectual property over the word pound. You're going to sue McDonald's, Queen Elizabeth, because they've got the quarter pounder and it's got that word pound in the middle of it. Absolutely ridiculous. But if the thing that prevents you from seceding is, well, we don't know how we're going to centrally control money. Well, here's an idea. maybe don't centrally control your money.
It would have been a great opportunity. Even if they wanted to centrally control their money, they could have had a great opportunity to experiment with cryptocurrency, which is, had already been proven to be viable on some level. It would have been a good experiment, at least.
I'm a huge fan of cryptocurrencies. I'm not a fan of legal tender laws.
Fair.
So when you've got some central government,
even if we had free market currency, we could still have as many as we wanted, and have if the nation states really wanted to have their own, they could compete.
Right, but okay. I thought you were saying like the nation state of whether it be Scotland or Catalonia, just say, oh yeah, Bitcoin is legal tender in this area now, and then you wind up getting into a lot of really, really weird things when you start granting legal tender status to things. Continuing on here, Spain's economy minister this week warned of a brutal economic collapse and a doubling of unemployment in Catalonia if it were to secede. Any declaration of Catalan independence would be meaningless without international recognition, but hardline separatists seem unwilling to back down. Bustelo, who's somebody that was mentioned earlier as some kind of expert on stuff, she said this is an absolute crisis, maybe the biggest in our whole democratic era.
Oh, geez.
So I don't know. The thing about international recognition, and again, this is something that I have studied just because it really interests me. The last several, quote unquote, new countries to come about have all come about, and when I say new countries, I mean the ones that wind up receiving international recognition, because that's really what everybody wants, is to somebody. Basically, it would be akin to an abused partner leaving a spouse and then, wanting people to say, yes, we acknowledge that you have left your abusive spouse. But the last several, new countries have come about with help from the United Nations. So East Timor, which most people call Timor-Leste, South Sudan, and there were a couple of others that, come about in the last 20 years or so. It's all basically happened with the assistance of the United Nations. And on the one hand, it's good that, these places are getting the recognition of, yes, you're no longer with that abusive spouse. But at the same time, it sort of gives a little too much legitimacy, in my opinion, to the United Nations. And I'm not a big fan of the UN.
Why would you be?
Well, there are some people that say we need the United Nations because otherwise we wouldn't have international communication, and that would be a bad thing.
This brings up a question. This kind of raises a question: if the Cal exit votes are, viable, and this doesn't exactly happen there, or if it does, what role would the UN play, if any, or would they stay quiet about it, or would they muckrake? How would it go?
That's a really good question, because the United Nations does have, various policies and regulations, procedures, etc., on what they consider to be decolonization. And of course, the United States and United Kingdom are two of the countries that still have overseas colonies, but somehow it's different when we do it. Puerto Rico, Guam, the Northern Mariana Islands, the Virgin Islands, all of these, they're still colonies, but the UN just sort of, looks the other way because, well, they know that the U.S. pays a lot of their bills. And there's some of the, more conservative types that they look at the UN and they're, trying to come in and infringe on sovereignty, blah, 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 blah. But at the same time, the UN knows that the U.S. government pays a lot of their bills. So They're not going to do anything to upset Sugar Daddy.
Absolutely not.
Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
BuySellMakeOffer.com is better than ever. I'm Pat Matthews, here to tell you that BuySellMakeOffer.com, the revolutionary site for buying and selling anything and everything, just upped the ante. Go right now to BuySellMakeOffer.com and click the Sign Me Up button. When you do, you'll get the first month free, and then it's just $9.95 a month to be a member forever. And you don't need a credit card for the initial setup. Create your own store on the site and sell whatever you want, as long as it's legal, however you want, and sell an unlimited number of items. Create your own intro video to describe what your store is all about. Use Skype to see who you're buying from or selling to. Sell unused household items, as well as antiques, cars, televisions, collectibles, real estate. The possibilities are unlimited. Use social networks to promote your store right from our site. Remember, there are never any fees no matter how much you sell. Become a member today. I'm a member. Get all your friends to sign up too. This could become a great business for you. Sell whatever you want for the first 30 days free at buysellmakeoffer.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com. The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, September 20th, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.32 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,313 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 3.9 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $3,947. Antiwar.com reports with Defense Secretary James Mattis reiterating that the U.S. goal is diplomacy with North Korea. The effort appears to be heading as far away from diplomacy as humanly possible. Indeed, Mattis confirmed recent discussions with his South Korean counterpart centered on the possibility of the U.S. using tactical nukes against North Korea. Mattis said it was important for the sake of open dialogue with allies to discuss issues like unleashing tactical nuclear weapons on their neighbors to the north. He did not elaborate on the U.S. position, though South Korea's President Moon has ruled out hosting U.S. nuclear arms. The issue appears to be divisive in South Korea, with Defense Minister Song Young-moo advocating such a move, and suggestions are that he was the one that brought up the issue with Mattis in the first place. The U.S. held nuclear arms in South Korea through 1991, withdrawing them at the end of the Cold War. Strategic Command Chief General John Hyten rejected the idea of even calling the weapons tactical, though that designation refers to them being smaller than strategic U.S. nukes. He insisted that there was not a chance the U.S. would bring a nuclear weapon into battle for tactical effect, but only as a strategic retaliation, which isn't the official U.S. position at all. Indeed, U.S. officials have regularly spurned no first strike proposals and have held out the possibility of preemptively nuking other nations. Advocates have argued ruling out such attacks would be seen as a sign of weakness and hurt U.S. flexibility in starting nuclear wars. In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. UPI reports drugstore chain Walgreens received approval from U.S. regulators to purchase nearly 2,000 Rite Aid stores. The $4.375 billion deal will give Walgreens control of 1,932 Rite Aid stores across the United States. Walgreens originally attempted to buy the entire Rite Aid company, but U.S. antitrust regulators frowned on the deal, causing the drugstore giant to eventually abandon its plan and settle for 254 fewer stores. The company said the Rite Aid stores that are being acquired are primarily primarily in the Northeast and Southern United States and will eventually be rebranded as Walgreens. Walgreens CEO Stefano Pessina said in a press release, combining Walgreens' retail pharmacy network with a strong portfolio of Rite Aid locations is expected to help us achieve enhanced, sustainable growth while enabling us to broaden our reach and provide greater access to convenient, affordable care in more local neighborhoods across the United States. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports Attorney General Jeff Sessions stepped up to the Trump administration's critique of so-called sanctuary cities on Tuesday, saying local and state policies to limit cooperation with immigration enforcement are a criminal's best friend. The remarks by Sessions at a gathering of law enforcement authorities in Portland, Oregon, came days after repudiation of his stance against the sanctuary movement and separate actions by a federal judge in Chicago and the California legislature. The judge in Chicago on Friday barred the DOJ from withholding public safety grants to cities unless they allow U.S. immigration authorities unlimited access to local jails and provide 48 hours notice before releasing individuals sought for deportation. On Saturday, lawmakers in California voted to make California a sanctuary state, approving a bill barring local governments from forcing undocumented immigrants to spend extra time in jail just to allow immigration agents to take them into custody. But under a compromise negotiated with Governor Jerry Brown, the bill allows local police to notify the federal government if they have arrested an undocumented immigrant with a felony record. It also allows immigration agents access to local jails. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Following the news this week that recording artist and industry magnate Bob Dylan would be laying off 2,000 workers from his Muscatine, Iowa songwriting factory in an effort to streamline his music-making operations, The Onion spoke with veteran factory worker Travis Felton, who received a pink slip earlier today.
I've been working on the lyric assembly line for 25 years now. Punch in each and every morning, make sure the words are complex and poetic. And yesterday, the foreman calls me into his office to tell me that the company is reducing headcount. They're giving the whole rhyming section the boot. What Mr. Dillon and the other suits don't understand is that here in Muscatine, songwriting is all we have. And we've been doing the best damn Dylan songs in the world for over 50 years, and now they're trying to take that away from us. I don't know what I'm supposed to do next. Well, I guess I could see if they're hiring over at the Tom Petty factory in Hurstville. Lord knows I hoped it'd never come to that.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Kicking off hour number 2 in studio. It's Darryl,
Jay, and Matt.
And, you know, I just came across a headline that I'm almost speechless. And that's not really, a state that you want to be in when you're behind a microphone on a radio program. Headline: Oklahoma City police shoot and kill deaf man holding a pipe. Oklahoma City police officers who opened fire, and this does come from CBS News. And as always, your calls and thoughts. Welcome, 855-450-FREE. Oklahoma City police officers who opened fire on a man who approached them holding a metal pipe did not hear the witnesses yelling to them that the man was deaf, according to an official with the department on Wednesday. Oklahoma City Police Captain Bo Matthews said at a news conference that officers thought Magdal Sanchez was simply not obeying their commands before one of them shot him, one with a gun, the other with a taser. Matthews said witnesses were yelling, "He can't hear you," before the officers fired, but the officers didn't hear the witnesses.
Isn't that convenient?
Now, basically, it sounds to me, and there's definitely more to this article, but it sounds to me that the police were too busy barking orders and trying to figure out, why is this guy not doing what we're saying?
Well, I'm sure
instead of paying attention to the people yelling to them, he can't hear you, he's deaf.
I'm sure that it'll be okay because the department's going to revisit their policy and get more training for the officers, and it'll all go away.
Right, and the policy is yell at deaf guys louder because that's how you get them to hear you, apparently. Sanchez did die at the scene. The officer who fired the gun, and this is a huge pet peeve of mine, and I believe it was Radley Balco wrote an article about this a couple of years ago. The sort of weird word manipulation that gets done by a lot of mainstream media to sort of remove blame from police officers that do things. So the wording here is the officer who fired the gun, not the officer that shot the deaf man. So it's, removing the deaf guy was shot by a bullet. The officer fired a gun. No, the officer shot the deaf man. That's what happened. Quit trying to do these weird mental gymnastics to make it sound as though the police officer did not shoot a deaf man dead. Sergeant Chris Barnes, the guy that fired the gun that killed Miguel Sanchez, has been placed on administrative leave pending investigation. Matthews, who's the Oklahoma City police captain, said the officers were investigating a reported hit and run at around 8:15 p.m. on Tuesday. He said witnesses told Lieutenant Matthew Lindsay the address where the vehicle responded for the hit and run had gone and that Sanchez was the one on the porch when Lindsay arrived. He said Sanchez was holding a metal pipe that was approximately 2 feet long and that had a leather loop on one end for wrapping around someone's wrist. Lindsay called for backup and Barnes arrived, at which point Sanchez left the porch and began approaching the officers. Witnesses could hear the officers giving Sanchez commands, but the officers did not hear the witnesses yelling that Sanchez could not hear them. When he was about 15 feet away from the officers, they opened fire, Lindsay with the taser, Barnes with his gun. When asked why Barnes used a gun instead of a taser, Matthews said he didn't know. He said it was possible that Barnes was not equipped with a taser. Neither officer had a body camera. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of police body cameras just because the way they're used in a lot of places, it's 24-hour a day, 7-day a week roaming surveillance, where if somebody said, hey, here's an idea, let's put surveillance cameras on every street corner, civil libertarians would be up in arms. That's absolutely ridiculous. It's an infringement of privacy. But yet, hey, here's an idea. Let's put security cameras in random locations that just move around recording 24 hours a day. And some civil libertarians, that's the greatest idea I've ever heard.
I don't like it because, money has to get stolen and harvested from tax cows, tax slaves, and, it's just more money. And what happens is these, companies get these sweetheart contracts to, outfit them and their ridiculous money and just
repair them when they break constantly.
Oh, yeah, and they just shut them off or delete the footage anyways whenever it's convenient for them. It's not like it's, streamed live to the internet and everybody can watch it, live and people can, it's not like it's blockchain technology. We can all look at the history.
Oh, yeah, let's put it on a blockchain, have an IC. I'm not a fan of putting everything on the blockchain. I think it's absolutely stupid. Because don't get me wrong, there are good reasons to put certain things on blockchains, and then other stuff. I think blockchain has just sort of become a buzzword that people have realized I can make some money if I throw around the word blockchain.
I'm gonna go start selling these police departments some blockchain technology for their body cam so I can make some money. Thanks for the idea.
Now I'm sure both of you have heard, and maybe you have, maybe you haven't. I believe it was Baltimore a few weeks ago where the body camera video came out showing the police planting evidence because they forgot, while it's not necessarily always recording. There's this 30-second loop, so when you press the button, it starts from 30 seconds ago and then starts recording, and the police forgot about this or something, planted the drugs, ran around the corner, pressed the record, and it showed them planting the drugs and then running around the corner. And the police chief basically said, we need to train the officers, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so the cops haven't been trained properly on how to plant evidence while wearing a body camera.
On how to cover up each other, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
They're really bad at it. I mean, they have no incentive to get good at it, though. I mean, they get out of everything anyway. They just walk away.
Right. And then, as with the dashboard cams on a lot of the police cruisers, when something really, really suspicious happens, well, wouldn't you just know that thing malfunctioned? And there's no video of the guy that was handcuffed with his hands behind his back, pulling a pistol out of somewhere and shooting himself in the head on the left side, even though he was right-handed, or vice versa. Just no video of that, but there's video of everything else that happened on that dashboard cam. And of course, all of this discussion again because the article from CBS says that neither the officer that pulled the taser or the officer that pulled his gun had a body camera. Sanchez's father, Sanchez being the guy that was the deaf man that was shot, his father, who was driving the hit-and-run vehicle, confirmed after the shooting that his son was deaf. He said Sanchez was not in the vehicle when his father struck something and drove over it. It was not a person that was hit. Neighbor Jole Gobera told the Associated Press that Sanchez, whose name she did not know, used notes to communicate with her and her husband. She said he often carried a stick to ward off stray dogs when he was walking at night. Police initially said Sanchez was carrying a stick, but Matthews described it Wednesday as a metal pipe. Your calls and thoughts welcome about police shooting deaf people for not following their commands. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Let's go to Skype, where we've got Ricky calling in. Ricky, you're on Free Talk Live with Darryl, Jay, and Matt. What's on your mind?
Good evening there, gentlemen. How you doing tonight?
You're doing well. What's on your mind?
Well, I mean, I heard what you were saying here, and I wanted to kind of talk to you a little bit about something. Now, I got a question for you first. Myself, at a point in my life, it was pretty easy. I better like it.
All right, so you've got a question for us. Write it down and take some notes. When we come back, we'll have your question, because I know you like to say you've got a question and then you kind of monologue. Your calls and thoughts welcome. Maybe you can figure out what Ricky's talking about. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
Ron Paul, Judge Napolitano, Jesse Ventura, Dennis Kucinich, Roger Ver, Colin and Jim Cantrell, Jordan Page, and Tatiana Moroz. Top minds in aerospace, cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, fine arts, politics, and finance, all at the Nexus Conference in Aspen, Colorado, September the 21st through the 23rd. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Get your tickets now at nexus.freetalklive.com. New ideas and new opportunities, all to be had on September the 21st through the 23rd. Nexus.freetalklive.com. The three most important things you can do for LRN.FM are: 1. Let your friends know you're listening to LRN.FM on your social networking profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.lrn.fm. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same great prices, and LRN gets a cut. Please do your online shopping at shop.lrn.fm.
Have you wanted to get into Bitcoin mining but don't want to deal with the hassle and frustration of operating the mining hardware? Let pool.bitcoin.com handle it for you like I did. Just visit pool.bitcoin.com and use their calculator to estimate what you could end up making. You get to decide which Bitcoin you want to mine. If you already have mining equipment, you're invited to join pool.bitcoin.com. Get all the details and get started mining Bitcoin at pool.bitcoin.com.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is Digital Cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy. Fees are low and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at dash.org.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855 450 free. That's 855-450-3733. In studio, it's Darryl, Jay, and Matt, and we'll get back to the phones here in just a second. But first, I want to make sure that I invite you to try the best pillow that you will ever use, and you can try it risk-free for 60 days. I'm talking about My Pillow. Well, you can't come over and actually use mine, but you can get your very own My Pillow. That's the brand name, My Pillow. It's designed to fit to the shape of your body, hold your neck in the proper position. I've been using this thing for probably 18 months or so, and yeah, it's the best pillow I've ever used. Now, I think I can figure out the only reason somebody would want to return this in the first 60 days, and that's if you don't measure yourself right to get the proper size pillow. So when I first got the pillow, I was like, I don't see what's so special about it. And then I wound up getting the proper size pillow. And yeah, it does wind up keeping my head and neck in that proper position. And unlike a regular pillow, you can take your My Pillow with all of the dirt and the dead skin and throw it in the washing machine, throw it in the dryer, and it's still usable. It doesn't turn into, fire starter. Go to mypillow.com. Use code FTL to get your very own My Pillow at half price, or you can get a second pillow free of charge. And remember, if you don't like it for some reason in those first 60 days, you do get your money back, and the pillow itself is guaranteed to last you 10 years. That's mypillow.com, code FTL. mypillow.com, code FTL.
So it's almost like a custom pillow then.
Yeah, so you order a size, and it's based on, you're supposed to, do a measurement of your shoulder. And, and also there's the question of, do you sleep on your back? Do you sleep on your side? Do you sleep on your stomach? And
Yes.
They adjust the size based on a questionnaire, basically, to figure out what size pillow you get. MyPillow.com, code FTL. Let's go back to Ricky calling in from Pennsylvania on Skype. Ricky, continue with your thoughts.
Well, I'll make the reason apparent after I get the answer to the question myself. I want to ask you, now, on July 23rd, I took an oath. The oath stated at the end there, on my honor, I swore to tell the truth and uphold the law of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania wherever I may go. I had to swear to that 3 times. Anybody from Pennsylvania that knows anything heard of, are you sure, are you sure you're sure, and are you sure you're sure? Now, the question I got to you, Darryl, have you ever taken an oath like that in your life?
Probably. I was temporarily deputized when I worked hospital security in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, but, that oath ended, as far as I'm concerned. That oath only extended to the ability of me to write parking tickets on hospital property, and it ended as soon as I wound up leaving that security job.
So you didn't get bound to the law of the land and all of that?
I have no claims of being bound.
Are you sure you're sure? And are you sure you're sure you're sure? And on the third
Ricky,
time,
it was 14 years ago. I don't remember what question they asked me. I don't remember what I ate for lunch a week ago. What difference does it make?
Well, I'm going to tell you. The answer would be no then, because you would remember that. Now,
not necessarily, but what difference does it make?
I'm with Ricky on this one.
Well, here's where this comes down to. Responsibility. And I'm going to explain responsibility. I am bound to the law of the land, and that honor means a lot to me. It may not to you, Darryl. It may not. I'm conscientious not only of the rights of all of my fellow Pennsylvanians and the law, but I'm conscientious the same when it comes to the state of New Hampshire, or for that matter, the Commonwealth of Virginia or Kentucky or whatever it may be. Are you following me, Darryl?
I'm understanding the words that you're saying as being English, but they're not in sentence structure that I comprehend. I have no clue what you are talking about.
I'm following you.
Maybe the other gentleman seemed to be
Can somebody interpret what he's saying?
Well, so probably what he's saying is he says he follows the law, but my question would be, define the law, because I was born and raised in Massachusetts, spent most of my life there, and they got this thing called MGL, which some people said stands for Massachusetts General Laws, and they refer to that as a law. Like they say motor vehicle code is law, which I say, no, it's statute. It's actually codified statute, as it says right in their definition. So if, for example, you follow the law, and, I mean, do you believe that marijuana prohibition, for example, is law, or is that just some statute? When you talk about law, I assume you might be talking about...
I'll answer that. Cool. Answer? I don't have a problem with marijuana use. That's not my issue.
That was not the question. The question was...
Darryl, don't talk about stuff that you don't know about.
Ricky, I'm explaining to you that his question wasn't, Ricky, do you think people should be able to smoke marijuana? His question was, is it law or is it statute?
In the case of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, I already answered that, because it is what they call, quote, state, I guess, statute. You know what I do with that? Ignore it.
Very good.
It's not my problem.
All right, so what's the question that you had for us?
It's not my problem.
Or did you already ask the question?
Well, I think you're missing the point here, Darryl, because you talk about being a libertarian, non-aggression principle. Let's see if I understand this correctly. Now, to me, it's more. Oh, I'm somebody who believes in that now. I believed in that since I was a young man at 15, because I'm a Gnostic. And to me, it's more than just a principle. It's part of my spiritual beliefs. Now, why don't you explain the non-aggression principle real quickly? If you don't want to, I can.
Well, I'm fairly certain it's been explained numerous times.
I'd love to hear Ricky's version.
The initiation of force on another person or their property is inherently wrong. Now, I know for a fact, Darryl, that has happened to yours truly. I know somebody that's a host on that show, somebody that didn't take the oath I did. See, nothing going to happen to you, Darryl. I got to do what I need to do, and I got to do it right. And that includes when dealing with you from the state of New Hampshire.
Hold on. Are you claiming that I have somehow violated your human rights?
You might call it a little joke. The other night when you dropped me with the 7-second delay, that didn't count, by the way, and I was going somewhere with that. That didn't count because I didn't finish citing my rights. Thank you for violating my rights, Darryl. That's real funny. Ha, ha, ha.
Well, nobody really has a right to talk on this show.
So let me explain, because, Ricky, you and I know what you're talking about here, but there are a lot of people listening to this radio show that have absolutely no clue what you're talking about. So a couple nights ago, Ricky called in. Hold on, Ricky. I'm trying to...
I got my hat on right.
Ricky, I'm trying to explain to the listening audience what you're talking about, because you bring this stuff up, and you do it a lot, where you bring stuff up that you've talked about previously, and thank you for the call, where called in a couple nights ago and just said, I am informing everybody of my rights under, and cited like 5 different sections of the Pennsylvania Constitution, and I thanked him for informing people of his rights. And apparently he's now saying that that is a violation of his rights. I don't know. Makes no sense to me. 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
Frustrated trying to get business capital? Want to take the slow process and rejection out of the equation? GCNloans.com removes the slow, irritating approval process. Instead, get quick, simple funding. Powered by David Allen Capital, 80% of our pre-qualified clients are approved in days. Pre-qualify at GCNloans.com and get your money this week. It's that easy. GCNloans.com. That's GCNloans.com.
North Korea openly threatens the U.S. and launches a new missile every other week. Their warhead of choice? Electromagnetic pulse. Such an event would cripple the U.S. power grid for years and leave millions in the dark. Are you ready? You can be with a Solarc EMP-hardened solar generator. Solarc works day in and day out to keep your essentials protected. You can have peace of mind knowing your power will be there when you most need it. Visit PortableSolarLLC.com to see EMP testing. That's PortableSolarLLC.com. Energy insurance for your family.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp, is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
Money, power, and respect are all yours at creditsuccesssecretsrevealed.com. Be seen as an industry leader. You can do it. The last application you filled out when it was time to hit submit did your nerves spike. You didn't get the approval you seek, but there's a better way. We teach you exactly what to place into the right systems the right way the first time so you get approved. Get up to $100,000 in instant business credit. Many people will get cash on the spot. Use those two tools in your new corporate credit engine. so you can walk into the bank and get your project funded today. It's all about today at CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com. Credit Success Secrets Revealed is explosive and ignites instant results. Dial 1-800-707-8719. That's 1-800-707-8719. 1-800-707-8719. Or just go to CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio tonight, it's Darryl,
Jay,
and Matt.
And maybe you're not able to listen to us live, but you want to listen on demand. Maybe you're one of the handful of people that still does not have a smartphone. Or maybe you're one of the few people that has a smartphone, but you don't have unlimited data. So you don't want to go to the LRN.FM feed, or you don't want to go to Free Talk Live and listen to that 24-hour-a-day feed. But you want to listen on demand. Well, you can do that with the LRN Listen Line, LRN being the Liberty Radio Network, the audio on demand listen line. Grab a piece of paper real quick. Unless you're driving, don't take both hands off of the steering wheel to jot down a telephone number. But jot down this number, 641-793-9660. Never miss any of the shows. And again, this is a call-in line. Now, long distance may apply if you're one of the handful of people that still pays long distance. I think most people have something close to unlimited minutes, and long distance doesn't really exist anymore for most people. But again, 641-793-9660. Catch any of the live shows from the Liberty Radio Network when you want to listen using this audio on demand listen line. That includes Free Talk Live, Declare Your Independence, The Freedom Fiends, The Angel Clark Show, and more. And of course, there's also the feedback option. So let's say you're listening at 3 o'clock in the morning and you want to respond to something you hear. I believe you just press 0, and then that takes you to the voicemail thing. You can leave a message for us. Multiple hosts wind up getting notified of the messages, and sometimes we listen, and occasionally those messages have been played on the air. Again, that's the audio on demand listen line. Let's go to the phones, 855-450-FREE. That's the toll-free number if you're listening live from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern any night of the week. Again, 855-450-3733. Going to, I believe this is Tom calling in Baltimore. You're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Yes, I'm going to keep using the moniker Diablo Policia, partly because, you make a very good point. I think we who are in this profession should be reminded and remind others that, indeed, Darryl, what you said is absolutely correct. It's not so much the bad apple, it's what happens to the bunch. So I'm going to keep using this moniker for that reason. And a little bird told me that if someone makes you mad, that you'll stomp on their balls really hard. And being your senior, I don't want you as a young man coming and kicking me in the balls. So,
that's not a service I provide. That is not a service I provide. There was a caller that last week said, Darryl, quit stomping on my balls. And in the amplifier group. So if you are an amplifier that's someone who donates at least $5 a month to the AMP program. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. One of the perks is the AMP-only Facebook group, and somebody did make a joke thread in there, and, of course, I did post. That's not a service I provide, but I do know people. So
I'll do it.
Just keeping that. All right, so Matt is offering his services. We're not going to start a live auction on the air. But, Tom, did you have any more to add?
Yeah. It came to mind listening to that last caller. Is it Jimmy?
Ricky. What was Ricky?
Ricky. Okay. See, I'm already associating with James. He seems like a James in the making, and that's just a little joke too. Jimmy or Ricky, don't come after me. But I think I've got an idea for a job for him. He says he's already sworn. I don't know if he's talking about in some type of law enforcement, but speaking of the tragedy of the individual who was deaf being shot, what idiots we've got out there on the street. I mean, there's really no other names for it. But I think Ricky could serve well by being on the front lines. And I mean this sincerely. It's not a dig. He could talk to these people, and he could exhaust these people and confuse these people to the point where maybe nothing more would need to be taken as far as action. And Ricky could simply disarm them or take them into custody, because they might even say, you know what, just take me away because I can't follow what you're saying to me. But just a thought there. If I could, before I leave you, I would like to mention this came up today. Speaking of veterans issues, can you folks hear me?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. This came up today, and it brought to mind something that I think is worth mentioning. We here in Carroll County, Maryland, have which is a suburb of Baltimore, have a newly appointed of several years sheriff. He's a retired state police commander, and he's really done well for himself. And what I wanted to tell you is this: he's one of the good guys. His name is Sheriff Jim DeWeese, and I recall hearing him speak about his dad when his dad came back from the Vietnam War, and he was talking about when he came to BWI Airport. That there were many people there to greet him, not to welcome him back, but to spit on him. And he recalled as a child seeing that and just not understanding it. And he grew up with that in mind, wanting to set an example as a public servant to the people that he serves, that the people that are in these offices, be it military, fire, police, whatever, many of them are good people, and he wanted to set a pinnacle example of that. And he's done just that. In fact, he had an encounter with a person who was mentally handicapped and was threatening, so he used his gun as well, but he used his gun to shoot the gun out of this individual's hand. Now, that's the kind of policing I like to hear about. And I don't believe for 1 second that if that wasn't an option, that he wouldn't have taken every other opportunity to save this person's life, because that's what he set out to do because of the way his dad was treated. And I just wish we had more people like Sheriff Jim DeWeese in law enforcement. We need more of them.
I think we just need less law enforcement. I mean, it's just out of control.
Well, that would be an option as well. We need a lot less laws, I'll tell you that. Speaking of laws, we could get by simply with common law. All of these statutory issues that we have with traffic, with criminal, with cities enacting ordinances. We've got Congress and Washington doing House resolutions. That's not real law. That's confusing law.
I actually don't even disagree with any of these.
How people can break the law, and many do. Most of us do, because we don't know all of the laws. It's gotten to the point of ridiculousness. So that I agree with. I
actually do not disagree with these laws, codes, rules, statutes, ordinances, regulations, all that stuff. My problem is with the way they're applied. These are only supposed to apply to corporations, literally corporations. There is no intention, there's no design for these things to apply to private people acting in their own manner. And the only law that we really do need as men is common law. But what government has done and gone ahead and created all these corporations And then these corporations have to be are then regulated by government, but the people are being misapplied. The law is being misapplied to people because people aren't corporations. We can get into more of that later.
You're right. Common law has to do with relationships. The other types of laws we're talking about have to do with having the people do the will of the state.
Tom, thank you for the call. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE.
From the first letter of Captain Mark. History is full of flowery documents claiming to limit the power of the crown, but these poetic social contracts have been impotent to prevent the predation. Limited government is a lie they use to keep us submissive. The crown cannot be trusted to abide by its founding charters, nor its treaties, nor even its own rules. The essence of the crown is centralized violence, and I've had enough. That's why I raised my black banner. I am no revolutionary. My aim is not to reset the cycle of violence, but to break it. My aim is an evolved society, invisible to the crown, not a new hierarchy, but decentralized networks with no central figure for the crown to target. If you want your servile life, keep it, but we will not submit to the crown's agenda. And when you are ready to stop being its beast of burden, ready for adventure and opportunity, join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
You want to save money in a place that gives you growth, control, and certainty without stock market risk or tax risk, and you want guarantees and you want it all tax-free. That's a tall order. But you can get all of that with properly designed participating whole life insurance. Most people think life insurance pays after you're dead. That's true. But you can have tax-free access to use your life insurance while you're alive. Get the free book to find out how. Call 702-660-7000.
Understanding your credit score is the first step towards managing and improving it. This is Charlie Sundstrom with your Van Dyke Mortgage Minute. The most influential component of your credit score is your payment history. Almost equally as important is the amount you owe on credit accounts. Also impacting your score, but to a lesser degree, are the length of time you've utilized your credit, the number of new accounts, credit inquiries, and your various types of credit accounts. To help achieve or maintain a healthy credit score, have a system set up to assure your bills are always paid on time. Don't max out your cards. It's better to have a high credit limit with a low balance. Never close old accounts. The age of these can actually help your credit score. But don't be afraid to use your credit. You need several accounts in order to have a credit score. Just keep the corresponding payments within your means. For your mortgage pre-approval and refi needs, start by visiting VanDykeMortgage.com.
Corporate NMLS 3035. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Charlie Sundstrom, NMLS 134251.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio, it's Darryl,
Jay,
and Matt.
And the internet is a wonderful thing. It's allowed an incredible amount of innovation in clothing and backpacks. You can see all kinds of ads for new or imagined products that propose to solve various different problems, some minor life savings, but do they stop bullets? Mark Edge, who's one of the hosts of this show, recently wound up getting a vest from bulletblocker.com. The company was founded by a former Army Ranger and firearms instructor with the goal of making backpacks for kids to protect themselves in case of a school shooting. Now they have a huge selection of clothing, backpacks, briefcases, and much more that could save your life. The products are attractive and well-made in the United States. Everybody needs a nice jacket. You might as well have one that can stop bullets. Get something for the whole family as well. This isn't the kind of thing you get a second chance at. bulletblocker.com. If the lives in your family are priceless, protect them at bulletblocker.com. And these things are airport security friendly, and international shipping is available. bulletblocker.com. So let's change gears here a good bit, and we talked earlier about the Spanish central government taking over Catalan government offices to prevent that secession vote on October 1st, and then the story about the police in Oklahoma City shooting a deaf man for not following their orders because he could not hear them because he's deaf. But the police were too busy barking orders. They didn't hear all of the people in the area yelling to them, "He can't hear you, he's deaf." Now, let's go to someone that might be kind of tone deaf, and that would be Attorney General Jeff Sessions, who has sort of doubled down on the move at the federal level to withhold funding from so-called sanctuary cities. Attorney General Sessions made some remarks Tuesday at a gathering of law enforcement authorities in Portland, Oregon, just a few days after repudiation of his stance against the sanctuary movement in separate actions by a federal judge in Chicago and another action by the California legislature. The judge in Chicago last Friday barred the Department of Justice from withholding public safety grants to cities unless they allowed U.S. immigration authorities unlimited access to the jails and provided 48 hours notice before releasing individuals who may be sought for deportation. So let me rephrase this a little because this sentence is kind of weird. So the Department of Justice, at the behest of President Donald Trump and, Attorney General Sessions, he's the head guy there at the DOJ, they came up with this rule that said, all right, cities, you want federal money for public safety? You need to give immigration authorities unlimited access to your jails and give us 48 hours notice before you release anybody so that we can tell you if they're wanted for deportation. And then you've got to hold them until we show up.
You know what I love about this? Is these cities that are passionate about being sanctuary cities, which I think is fine. I have no problem with that. I don't like the idea that a man or a woman, because they're living and breathing and within some imaginary lines, is illegal because of their location.
Right.
Now, but what's going to be cool is these cities, that these same people who love the dole of the government, love sucking on the tit of the government, literally are now in a quagmire. And what I hope that they do is that they don't take the federal money and they actually find ways to live without the money. This is going to be like a big game changer for these hardcore, liberal leftists who are, very pro sanctuary city and, but also, want all that money for, programs. I think that that's great. It's a good way to cut the federal budget. And once these big cities start figuring out how to do this, and then they realize, that they no longer have, Big Brother breathing down their throat. I mean, it's going to set a big example, a great example for other cities to, get off the federal money. That's the biggest problem.
that's good in theory, but unfortunately, that's not how this is actually going to play out, because judge in Chicago told the DOJ, you're not allowed to put these strings on that money. So, you can ask cities to come up with these policies, but you cannot put strings on the money.
There's already all kinds of strings on the money. What are they talking about? Oh,
there's always strings on that.
No. They're saying you can't put these particular strings. So part of it, and I've not actually read the ruling in this particular case, but I know that some of the stuff is you can't add new strings to existing grants, but you can add strings to grants that aren't current. So if there was to be a new grant that gets created, you could add, whatever strings you want, but an existing grant can't have additional strings attached, is my understanding.
So it's like moving the goalposts inside of an already existing contract.
Correct. And, that's something that at least, on this case,
so the judge wasn't exactly trying to protect anybody from anything. He was just saying, tear up the old one and get a new one if you want to do it.
Again, I've not actually read the ruling, so I don't know if that's what he said, or he just said, you can't do it the way you're trying to do it, which, basically the same wording, just worded slightly differently. The other setback came in California, where lawmakers in Sacramento voted to make California a sanctuary state. And again, a lot of this is sort of very loose interpretation of the word sanctuary, because, again, and I know, Matt, you like to say, Darryl, you're one of those pedants that always likes to define every word, but this is a word that gets thrown around to where it has multiple meanings. So one meaning is there's absolutely no cooperation with federal officials, and the other meaning is, we'll do a check, but we're not necessarily going to everybody we pull over. Let's see all of the things that prove that you're here legally. That's also considered to be a sanctuary jurisdiction. What they did in California was the legislature approved a bill barring local governments from forcing undocumented immigrants to spend extra time in jail. So part of the federal policy, they say, we want you to give us 48 hours notice and then just hold them until we show up if we say we want them. This would just, prohibit, or rather it would bar the local governments from forcing people to spend extra time in jail. So you can notify the feds, but you're not allowed to. If they're supposed to be released at 2 p.m. on Friday, you release them at 2 p.m. on Friday, whether ICE shows up or not. Would also wind up allowing immigration, or rather prohibit the extra time in jail for the immigration officials to show up. Under a compromise negotiated with California Governor Jerry Brown, the bill does allow local police to notify federal agents if they've arrested someone with a felony record who is in the country as an undocumented immigrant. It still allows immigration agents to have some access to local jails, not necessarily that unfettered access that the feds want. Sessions called on local jurisdictions that have sought to shield immigrants from deportation to reconsider, and he urged Brown not to sign the bill. So here, Sessions is using the term sanctuary to be, you're protecting them. You're not even arresting them on anything. You're providing them full sanctuary. Whereas what they're actually doing in California is, we're going to have limited cooperation, but we're not just going to wind up holding somebody indefinitely until you show up if they've, violated the entry into the U.S., which that's not even a felony. Most people wind up thinking that entering the United States, in contrast to whatever, laws and regulations exist, most people think that's a felony. No, it's a violation. It's a federal violation. It's akin to getting a federal parking ticket. It's a violation. It is not a misdemeanor. It is not a felony. It, on its own, does not carry any jail time.
Just deportation, right?
They can deport, but not necessarily all the time. And again, it's something that, think about it. It's akin to getting a federal parking ticket.
Right, but here's what really happens. I worked with a lot of so-called illegal guys, brown guys, and I absolutely love every one of them. But what happens is they're all carrying fake IDs. So what they do is they get pulled over, and they present this fake passport, fake driver's license, or whatever, and that's what gets them in trouble. That's what gets them the actual legit charges.
The unsworn falsifications, the lying to a police officer. More on this, plus your calls and thoughts. Welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
Investing is a long-term process. How many times can you think of in the last decade that the stock market has destroyed retirement funds for people just like you and me? For your existing IRA, you need the security that gold has provided for centuries. Remember, gold has never been worth zero. Capital Gold would like to introduce you to the Home Storage Gold IRA. It's a self-directed IRA set up with all the protection and tax benefits of an LLC. But the big difference in this IRA is you invest in gold and you hold it in your possession. You can't do that with stocks. That's security. You can transfer any type of IRA hassle-free in days. Please call right now and learn more, and we'll waive the $500 setup fee and give you a free safe to store your gold. 800-535-7789. 800-535-7789. 800-535-7789. That's 800-535-7789.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, September 20th, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.32 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,313 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 3.9 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $3,947. Antiwar.com reports with Defense Secretary James Mattis reiterating that the U.S. goal is diplomacy with North Korea. The effort appears to be heading as far away from diplomacy as humanly possible. Indeed, Mattis confirmed recent discussions with his South Korean counterpart centered on the possibility of the U.S. using tactical nukes against North Korea. Mattis said it was important for the sake of open dialogue with allies to discuss issues like unleashing tactical nuclear weapons on their neighbors to the north. He did not elaborate on the U.S. position, though South Korea's President Moon has ruled out hosting U.S. nuclear arms. The issue appears to be divisive in South Korea, with Defense Minister Song Young-moo advocating such a move, and suggestions are that he was the one that brought up the issue with Mattis in the first place. The U.S. held nuclear arms in South Korea through 1991, withdrawing them at the end of the Cold War. Strategic Command Chief General John Hyten rejected the idea of even calling the weapons tactical, though that designation refers to them being smaller than strategic U.S. nukes. He insisted that there was not a chance the U.S. would bring a nuclear weapon into battle for tactical effect, but only as a strategic retaliation, which isn't the official U.S. position at all. Indeed, U.S. officials have regularly spurned no first strike proposals and have held out the possibility of preemptively nuking other nations. Advocates have argued ruling out such attacks would be seen as a sign of weakness and hurt U.S. flexibility in starting nuclear wars. In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. UPI reports drugstore chain Walgreens received approval from U.S. regulators to purchase nearly 2,000 Rite Aid stores. The $4.375 billion deal will give Walgreens control of 1,932 Rite Aid stores across the United States. Walgreens originally attempted to buy the entire Rite Aid company, but U.S. antitrust regulators frowned on the deal, causing the drugstore giant to eventually abandon its plan and settle for 254 fewer stores. The company said the Rite Aid stores that are being acquired are primarily in the Northeast and Southern United States and will eventually be rebranded as Walgreens. Walgreens CEO Stefano Pessina said in a press release, combining Walgreens' retail pharmacy network with a strong portfolio of Rite Aid locations is expected to help us achieve enhanced sustainable growth while enabling us to broaden our reach and provide greater access to convenient, affordable care in more local neighborhoods across the United States. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports Attorney General Jeff Sessions stepped up to the Trump administration's critique of so-called sanctuary cities on Tuesday, saying local and state policies to limit cooperation with immigration enforcement are a criminal's best friend. The remarks by Sessions at a gathering of law enforcement authorities in Portland, Oregon, came days after repudiation of his stance against the sanctuary movement and separate actions by a federal judge in Chicago and the California legislature. The judge in Chicago on Friday barred the DOJ from withholding public safety grants to cities unless they allow U.S. immigration authorities unlimited access to local jails and provide 48 hours notice before releasing individuals sought for deportation. On Saturday, lawmakers in California voted to make California a sanctuary state, approving a bill barring local governments from forcing undocumented immigrants to spend extra time in jail just to allow immigration agents to take them into custody. But under a compromise negotiated with Governor Jerry Brown, the bill allows local police to notify the federal government if they have arrested an undocumented immigrant with a felony record. It also allows immigration agents access to local jails. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
A report confirms that many Iraqis are still holding a petty grudge about the U.S. invasion. An advanced alien civilization discovers an uninhabitable planet, and a single woman has a Facebook profile picture with her sister. This is the Onion Week in Review. A groundbreaking study published Monday in the Journal of the American Medical Association confirmed that it is impossible to lose weight. No one has ever done it, and those who are trying should give up immediately. Researchers said that findings conclusively prove that shedding excess weight has never happened, changing your physical appearance is impossible, and that all sorts of exercises, personal training regimens, and diets will never, ever work.
Well, our test results conclusively prove that if you're going to the gym to lose weight, you will fail. You could work out every day and eat nothing, and you still wouldn't lose an ounce. Skinny people will stay skinny. Overweight people will be overweight. That's just how it is.
In other news, an area man is outraged his private information is being collected by someone other than advertisers. And a crowd cheers as this 93-year-old fuck-up finally graduates from college.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Kicking off our number 3 in studio, it's Darryl,
Jay,
and Matt.
And again, your calls and thoughts on whatever is on your mind. We're talking about the anti-sanctuary city setbacks at the federal level. Again, to reiterate, there was the decision out of a federal court in Chicago saying that the DOJ's policy of withholding federal grants from municipalities that don't follow new procedures instituted by the DOJ, court threw that out as unconstitutional. And then lawmakers in California passed something that is being considered sanctuary legislation. Again, the bill
not yet as of the most recent news update that I've seen, not yet signed by Governor Jerry Brown. The bill would allow local police to notify federal government officials if they've arrested an undocumented immigrant with a felony record. However, it would bar local governments from forcing said immigrants to spend extra time in jail just to allow the immigration agents to come take them into federal custody. The legislation would, however, allow immigration officials access to local jails, which is one of the things that the DOJ was seeking in their new policies. The Attorney General Jeff Sessions has called on local jurisdictions that have sought to what he considers shield illegal immigration or immigrants from deportation. He's opposed that, saying that somehow it contributes to rising crime. He's also urged Governor Brown not to sign the bill into law in California. The Trump administration has insisted that deportation crackdown is aimed at undocumented immigrants convicted of serious crimes, adding again that what they see as sanctuary measures contribute to rising crime. No. What contributes to rising crime is making everything illegal. Because when you have more quote-unquote crimes to enforce, you're going to have more criminals. If all of a sudden it were illegal to be named Darryl, Jay, or Matt, you would have 3 new criminals sitting in this studio, even though we've not done anything immoral. We've not harmed anyone by simply being named Darryl, Jay, and Matt. But that's what happens when you create new crimes. You automatically create criminals.
Well, what the state refers to as a crime, as far as I'm concerned, if there's no victim, there's no crime. So you can't even trust these statistics that crimes go up in a sanctuary, these sanctuary cities, because it's literally a crime to be brown or to be black. I tell people like things that I do in life, like I don't have a driver's license, and how I interact with the cops, and black people are like, "Whoa, dude, I would never do that. You could never get away with that. If you were my color." And I believe those guys. They're right. I drove all around Colorado. No driver's license. I never got pulled over. I got pulled over once for a thing, but the cop was just being a nice guy. I had a tire coming apart in a trailer, and he told me about it.
Okay.
But anyways, these other guys, like Denver is like a sanctuary city, but when you get outside of Denver, all the cities around Denver, except with the exception of Boulder, but like north of Denver and east of Denver and stuff, they're really aggressive on just pulling Mexicans over, especially if a Mexican's like driving like a nice truck or a nice car. They just pull them over and they just harass them. And it happened to these guys a lot. I mean, if these guys are driving a little beat up junky car, they never got bothered because they figure out they're working for some farmer or whatever, and they just didn't. And they're very selective about who they went after and harassed. And even
right, because they want to be able to do a couple things. They want to be able to write a ticket, and then they want to be able to go to court and get a win because, well, you don't really get a raise or a promotion if you don't win your cases. So it helps the prosecutor if you only write tickets to, quote unquote, guilty people, or you do this thing called charge stacking to where, you really only did, one thing, quote unquote, wrong here, but we're going to write you 5 different citations and then offer you a plea deal and plead out. We'll drop all of these, but you plead guilty to this one thing, and then we'll suspend most of the fine for you. And, well, when you look at the statistics that, what is it, like 90 some odd % of people wind up taking a plea, then, of course people are committing crimes and being guilty, because why would anybody wind up pleading guilty to something they didn't do? Well, because the option is you plead guilty and you pay $100 fine, or you take all of these charges to trial and you've got 5 years of prison hanging over your head. What sort of gambler are you?
No, I'm a risky gambler because last time I one of the times at court they had me they stacked the charge. They charged me resisting arrest. They added all the stuff to it. It added up to like 3 years of jail time with all the stuff. And at one point in the trial, they were like, "Whoa, we'll just reduce it to pay a $50 fee, and we're just going to only find you responsible of not using a turn signal, and everything else is dismissed." And I says, "Nope." And then he goes, "Well, we'll just do it for no money." I says, "No, we're going to trial." So we did. We went to a 3-day jury trial, and I was, found not guilty on all the charges. It was actually a lot of fun.
Excellent.
Great work.
And continuing here, Attorney General Sessions says such policies, that being the supposed sanctuary city policies, he says such policies undermine the moral authority of law and undermine the safety of the jurisdictions that adopt them. That makes a sanctuary city a trafficker, smuggler, or gang member's best friend. How far removed from reality is this guy? If he thinks that there's some kind of moral authority tied to all of these unjust, immoral laws,
and
you are not allowed to move across this piece of land without the king's permission. If you do, then you're violating the moral authority of the law.
That last quote you just read is literally the jihadist Republican mindset out there in Colorado. Those guys, unless it was, this dairy farmer, this rancher's, quote unquote Mexican, they were okay, but all the other ones, in the city and in town, they weren't.
It sounds like some racists down south to where, well, that one, he's all right, but it's all them others.
All the time.
Continuing on, he cited cases, he being Jeff Sessions, cited cases in Oregon and California where undocumented immigrants were charged with committing violent crimes after being arrested for minor offenses, despite federal request to keep them in custody. Well, how many times do you wind up reading headlines that say, Florida man, blah, 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 Florida man eats someone's face after smoking bath salts. Florida man shoots his in-laws. Florida man this. Should we ban Florida man as well? Because Florida man does a bunch of horrible, illegal things. And if you look at the statistics, and I know the people that want to wind up, quote unquote, banning them undocumented whatevers, they'll pull up a rare story of this or that. But if you look at statistics, collectivist statistics, because I prefer judging people based on, being individual humans. But, if you look at statistics of various segments of the human population, you will see that people that were born and raised in the United States of America wind up committing more violent crimes than immigrants, both those that are quote-unquote documented and those that are quote-unquote undocumented. People born in the United States commit more crimes than all of them. You have a better chance of being killed by a police officer than you do by a terrorist. But the people that, want to, try claiming some moral high ground here, it's all smoke and mirrors to where they can be collectivist and just look at the others. Oh, they're different. We need to keep them out. Well, I don't like classifying immigrants as either documented or undocumented. Free people should be able to cross borders freely. That's how I see it.
I like being undocumented.
This is Free Talk Live.
Don't do what I did and run out. If it's working, don't quit. Why would you stop? Why undo all the good that's been accomplished?
You've got to feed them right for life.
Dynavite is nutrition.
If I ever took Roy off of Dynavite...
No.
When I get to about 3/4...
When I get down to the bottom of my box of Dynavite, oh no, I've got a couple more scoops. It's time to place my order. Dynavite.com. DINOVITE.com.
859-428-1000.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite for your dog this week.
We'll send you a bottle of NomoFlea free.
NomoFlea flea spray kills fleas safely with no poison.
Because it's a polypeptide protein molecule made from
vegetable oil.
Try NomoFlea.
Free this week at Dynavite.com.
Just feed your dog right. Use Dynavite.
Dynavite for life.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Ron Paul, Judge Napolitano, Jesse Ventura, Dennis Kucinich, Roger Ver, Colin and Jim Cantrell, Jordan Page, and Tatiana Moroz. Top minds in aerospace, cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, fine arts, politics, and finance, all at the Nexus Conference in Aspen, Colorado, September the 21st through the 23rd. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Get your tickets now at nexus.freetalklive.com. New ideas and new opportunities all to be had on September the 21st through the 23rd. Nexus.freetalklive.com.
Dash is digital cash, a digital currency designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime, for just pennies on the dollar. Dash is the first digital money that's governed by its users. Join Dash and help us build a better financial system for everyone. Find out more at dash.org. That's dash.org.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. You may already know about the Free Talk Live audio-on-demand phone line at 641-793-9660. Did you know that not only can you listen to Free Talk Live via your phone, you can also leave a message and have it delivered to Free Talk Live's hosts? To leave us your thoughts, just dial 641-793-9660. That's 641-793-9660. Press 2 for Free Talk Live, and then hit 0 to leave your message.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855 450 free. That's 855-450-3733 in studio. It's Darryl,
Jay,
and Matt.
And how would you like to save money? Well, let me just first ask that question. How would you like to save money? How would you like to save money on everything you buy from Amazon? What if I said you could save up to 33% on things you buy from Amazon? And I did that earlier today. I put something up in my account at saveatpurse.com. So what you do here is you create an account at saveatpurse.com. You then put something or multiple things in your Amazon wish list. You import the wish list into saveatpurse.com, and then you select your discount up to 33%. So there was a particular item that I was in no rush to get at all. And so I said, you know what? I'm just going to put this at 33% and see if anybody winds up hitting on it at some point in the future. And lo and behold, I happened to have gone to the account to look at something else to make sure I didn't have any other open orders because I got a package from Amazon. And this was one of the few things that I actually ordered through Amazon, but I wanted to make sure it didn't need to clear the escrow on Save It Purse. And I noticed, this order that I placed 2 hours ago at 33% has already been picked up. So, hopefully it's not one of these things to where the guy just, and there are scammers, a few of them. They don't last long because, they wind up getting booted off after trying to pull their scam. So there are some people that they'll wind up saying, oh, yeah, this is ordered. It'll be here tomorrow. And then it doesn't show up tomorrow. And you're like, do you have a tracking number? And then they just cancel the order. So there are some people that, hope that you just release the escrow without getting the item. So you don't release the escrow until you get the items in the mail. That's the very important thing. But again, you have to fund the account with Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies. That's how you get these big savings at saveatpurse.com.
I really enjoyed using Purse. I think I've used it for close to 3 years now. And the other 2 times I've had issues in the customer service when I email those guys at Purse, or you click on the contact customer service.
Oh yeah, customer service is amazing.
Bam, right there. I'm having an issue right now. Something I bought directly from Amazon. I wish I bought it through Purse because I'm just not real good at like harassing people.
Yep.
And if I bought it through Purse, I could say to the guy who bought it for me, "Hey, listen, it didn't show up yet.
Right.
I'm not releasing the Bitcoin." Well, guess what? He's going to make real darn sure he's going to do all the legwork and he's going to work on it. And if he's, usually those guys are pretty good with Amazon anyways. But I bought something, 3 weeks ago? I think Bitcoin was right around 4,300, I think. And I'm like, I'm going to do it for 33%. And I just didn't. And it was like $180 worth of like all these wire connectors and stuff I use for electrical work. And yeah, it was like, it went through in like 6 hours. I couldn't believe it. So if somebody's willing to pay 33% at $4,300 Bitcoin, wow, what's Bitcoin worth? That's just the way I look at it. And I couldn't believe it was like, bam, I didn't have to drop it or anything.
Right. And there have been the questions previously of why would somebody pay such a big markup to get a hold of Bitcoin? Well, I happen to know somebody that has used Purse as a Bitcoin buyer. And it's somebody that winds up getting paid in Amazon credits. And they don't necessarily need stuff right away from Amazon. Or maybe some of the Amazon credits they get are from Amazon UK. And they don't need to buy things from the UK. So they'll go to Purse, convert those Amazon credits to Bitcoin. They don't care what they're buying or what they just, I've got, X number of Amazon credits. I want to convert it to Bitcoin. And then there's also the people that do what's called the Amazon Mechanical Turk. A lot of times it's people in Southeast Asia that will do these Amazon Mechanical Turk things. They can't necessarily use the Amazon credits where they live, but they can then, convert to Bitcoin and then use the Bitcoin locally. So it's an amazing way to save money and actually spend your cryptocurrency. saveatpurse.com. Let's go to Sarah calling in from New Mexico, and you can call in as well. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live with Darryl, Jay, and Matt. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Yes, I wanted to explain one of the health problems that can be caused by lack of salt. And I know there has been a big salt scare they've been putting out there for like decades, like for 30 years. But what happens is that our stomach acid, the hydrochloric acid, is actually made from salt. The chloride part of it, sodium chloride. So, especially elderly people, when they produce less hydrochloric acid. So they have less digestion of their food. So then when you can absorb less nutrients, you wind up having health problems. And I heard from Mr. Barefoot that it's completely false. What they have related the blood pressure to the salt. That's a complete made-up lie.
Well, I think it really depends on the type of salt. There's all different kinds of salts out there, and there are salts that will kill you. There are salts that will make you sick, and there are salts that are very beneficial for your health.
Right, and there's the iodized salt. You already mentioned the sodium chloride. There's the Himalayan pink sea salt, and as Jay said, there are a bunch of different types of salt, and as they say, too much of anything can kill you. So
well,
if you're putting a bunch of salt on everything you eat, yeah, that's going to be bad.
I feel bad about using salt because I think it makes me retain water, and I feel fat and bloated when I do that. So I've got a bowl of chicken and broccoli and rice in front of me right now, and it's baked chicken and steamed rice and steamed broccoli, and I feel pretty good about it, but I do feel a little bit guilty because I did sprinkle some sea salt on it. Are you saying that I shouldn't feel guilty and this is actually good for me now?
Well, that's correct. Doctors have been lying about the cholesterol. They've been saying that margarine is better for you. It's lethal. They also been lying about the salt. And I've been hearing some commercials now. They're saying that you need salt. But one of the problems, other than goiter, the swelling of thyroid from lack of iodine, another problem is that our stomach acid is made from sodium, the chloride, which is salt. So, I mean, I've always like the natural salt that have trace mineral contents in it, and I just think it makes our food really wonderful. And I use kosher salt, but the natural salt is a way to, make our bodies healthier and get absorbed natural, trace minerals from the sea salt and minerals.
Well, how do you feel about MSG?
Salt. You know something? I am not an expert on MSGs. I really do not know, but I like it though. It tastes good. Yeah. So a lot of the stuff that I do eat has a little bit of MSG in it, and I'm not an expert on the MSG part of it. And
Sarah,
I know that
thank you for the call. And as far as MSG, I always appreciate the WWE events from Madison Square Garden. This is Free Talk Live. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE.
With nearly 70 years of history engineering bunkers, today, Atlas Survival Shelters is still the authority. Atlas offers 18 different choices, from commercial tornado shelters to underground nuclear fallout shelters, starting at just $99.99 with 100% financing available, comfortable interiors, and state-of-the-art air filtration systems. Atlas Survival Shelters are the most popular private survival shelters in the world. Call 1-855-4BUNKER now or visit atlassurvivalshelters.com.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. $39.95 plus shipping and handling. Use discount code GCN and receive 15% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Fire your fly swatter and get your Bug Assault today.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
There's no better app for tracking the value of cryptocurrencies than CoinCap. I've had a lot of apps for tracking Bitcoin, but none that's ever been able to track 500 digital assets at once. Their best feature is the Altfolio. I love this thing. You enter how many Bitcoins, Ether, Dash, Doge, or whatever else you have, and it tells you how much your crypto is worth. You can watch yourself get rich. If you have crypto, go right now to coincap.io, or you can use the Apple Store or Google Play to get the app. I love CoinCap. coincap.io.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can call in, bring up whatever is on your mind. In studio tonight, it's Darryl,
Jay,
and Matt.
And, you know, we're actually going to divert the conversation away from sanctuary cities. There's still a little bit more to talk about on that. But the last caller actually brought something up that we've actually spent, the entire period between segments discussing off the air. So I figure it's important to continue talking about. So the caller suggested that salt is actually good for you. That there's this myth that's been going around for many years that eating too much salt, something heart failure. Well, let's actually sort of delve into this a little bit, because it's not necessarily the salt per se that causes the congestive heart failure or other heart problems. It's the sodium. And Jay, I think you're the one that mentioned there are a lot of different types of salt. There's the sodium chloride, which is what most people think of when they think of salt. But then there's also the iodized salt. There's the Himalayan pink salt. There's the sea salts, the salt, the other salt. Well, what's the truth? There's got to be some kind of truth somewhere in the middle. Well, sodium, if you have too much of that, then that can wind up causing some very severe health consequences, which is why a lot of medical professionals will say limit the salt intake. But if you don't have any sodium, then there's also, potential health hazards there. And Sarah mentioned something about the hydrochloric acid, and you do need sodium to help produce the hydrochloric acid. So there's got to be a fine balance here. There's an article from livestrong.com that says you do need hydrochloric acid, or they abbreviate HCl, to utilize nutrients like magnesium and B12 to kill bacteria and help denature proteins so they can be broken down by the digestive enzyme pepsin. Consuming the right amount of salt helps you produce that hydrochloric acid. And they have a few steps here. They say, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, humans only need about 180 to 500 milligrams of sodium per day for good health. Too much sodium increases the risk of high blood pressure, and too little, again, has those negative effects. The Institute of Medicine recommends that adults consume no more than 2,300 milligrams of sodium per day, which, again, if you're doing math at home, is somewhere about 15 times higher than that 180 to 500 milligrams that is recommended. So 180 is the low end, 500 the high end, and the Institute of Medicine says do not consume more than 2,300. So again, when they're talking about too much, they're talking about way too much, which is what a lot of people wind up doing. I've seen people, before just like turn the salt shaker upside down on all the food, and yeah, maybe a pinch of salt here and there for flavor, not going to kill you. But just, like turning that salt shaker upside down.
I'm telling you, switching to pure MSG is the way to go, and everybody should eat it by the tub.
MSG being monosodium glutamate. And now you're a chef.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this flavoring of food and MSG versus sodium chloride versus iodized salt versus
Okay, so MSG is something, and it's very popularly used in Asian cooking, but what people don't realize is it's
generally gets a bad rap, right? It's the stuff
that's an awful rap.
So I know very little about MSG, so let me tell you what limited knowledge I have of it, and you tell me how wrong this is. Okay. MSG is the stuff that they put on food to make it taste better, so you go eat more of it, and then you get fat, and then you keep eating at the restaurant because you then become addicted to the food, and it's how big pharma, or not big pharma, but big food winds up staying in business. And McDonald's, they put like sugar on their hamburgers again because it makes it taste good, and then you're addicted to McDonald's hamburgers, and it becomes crack to you where you
Then
break
they
into
own
people's
you.
houses and steal their television
Ronald McDonald got
take
his
it down
start
to
on
the
a
pawn
playground.
shop. So it's basically it's a drug. MSG is a drug, is what I've been told.
Caffeine.
If that were true, there were a couple of restaurants that I worked in when I was younger that would be overrun with business. But the fact is they weren't absolutely overrun. Well, they were popular, but they weren't hugely overrun with business. All MSG does, I mean, if you were to take lick your finger and stick it in a pile of MSG and then taste it, you wouldn't get any flavor. You'd get a salty texture, but you wouldn't get any salty flavor. However, if you were to sprinkle it into a sauce or into some food, say something that has no MSG on lettuce, you would maybe for the first time in your life get a really pounding exposure to what lettuce actually tastes like, because it amplifies flavor. It's all it does.
Dirt. So let's add
amplify
salt
the
to
flavor of
dirt, and dirt still doesn't taste good.
Correct. It would taste extremely bad.
I wonder if anybody's put it in bulletproof coffee. I like experimenting with bulletproof coffee. I make bulletproof coffee and putting stuff in it.
So explain what bulletproof coffee is, because I think there's a small segment of the population that knows what it is, but everybody else is like, what do you mean coffee that can stop bullets?
So bulletproof coffee is a term given to coffee where I don't even know who invented it, but Dave's Brain Octane is, if you Google that, you read about it. But basically what it is it's MCT oil, which it stands for medium chain triglyceride, that is derived from a coconut. It's essentially coconut oil that has had some elements of the coconut oil removed. I think a lot of the fat's removed. And then it's butter from grass-fed cows, unsalted butter. It's terrible when you put salted butter in it, but unsalted butter from grass-fed cows, and you put it in a blender. And what I do with mine is I put powdered turmeric and powdered cinnamon in it. And my sister-in-law, actually, she sells that alfalfa mushroom stuff.
Okay.
And I use that, and I'm sure you've had that alfalfa mushroom coffee before.
I don't drink coffee.
Oh, okay. So what I really like about that coffee is it doesn't, it's like coffee and some mushrooms, like Lindsay. I can't remember names of all the mushrooms, but there's a couple different mushrooms, and it's really good coffee. And you don't get
but it's not the mushrooms that get you high.
No, oh yeah. But anyway, so you can do it with any coffee, Folgers, whatever, instant coffee. I've done with all kinds of coffees. But what I really like about bulletproof coffee is, well, you guys know I was almost 300 pounds when I started doing bulletproof coffee, and what bulletproof coffee did for me is really. It just helped suppress my appetite, because I was giving my brain these good fats that it needs via the grass-fed butter from grass-fed cows. Sometimes I say grass-fed butter. I'm like, oh, I didn't know butter ate grass. I get that response sometimes. But anyways, and then the MCT oil does something with gives you like a lasting energy throughout the day. Like a lot of people with coffee, they'll get like kind of like that. They'll drink like 3 cups of coffee in the morning, and then they'll like kind of like crash later on in the day. I just make one like 16-ounce thing of bulletproof coffee, and the coffee is actually kind of weak. It's about it's not quite a cup and a half of it what you would use for actual coffee, and it's probably like 2.5 cups of volume. But that was pretty amazing for me because it really helps with stamina. It helps with I've drive back and forth from here to Colorado the past 3 years a lot. That really.
Oh yeah, you've driven a lot of miles.
Oh yeah, and so bulletproof coffee like just really helps with focus and clarity, and just not wanting to stop and eat junk food is what it really did to me, and that's what was the number one thing to help me lose weight, and just because it fulfills that fat craving. And I don't know if this is scientific, but this is what I've heard, is that what it has something to do with caffeine from coffee, or caffeine in general, can like penetrate the blood-brain barrier pretty easy. And then when you get the fat from the butter and the MCT oil, or you can put coconut oil in it, it like gets to the brain like better, and like your brain's like basically made of fat and needs a lot of fat to operate, and this helps carry it there.
What's it doing to your arteries and your liver, though?
I'm not exactly sure, but I feel pretty good.
Right on.
We can discuss it, plus your calls and thoughts. 855-450 free. This is Free Talk Live.
Have you wanted to get into Bitcoin mining but don't want to deal with the hassle and frustration of operating the mining hardware? Let pool.bitcoin.com handle it for you like I did. Just visit pool.bitcoin.com and use their calculator to estimate what you could end up making. You get to decide which Bitcoin you want to mine. If you already have mining equipment, you're invited to join pool.bitcoin.com. Get all the details and get started mining Bitcoin at pool.bitcoin.com.
When I get to about 3/4,
When I get down to the bottom, a couple more scoops, it's time to place my order. Dynovite.com.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite for your dog this week.
We'll send you a bottle of NomoFlea free.
NomoFlea flea spray kills fleas safely with no poison.
Because it's a polypeptide protein molecule made from
vegetable oil.
Try NomoFlea.
Free this week at Dynovite.com.
Just feed your dog right. Use Dynovite. DINOVITE.com.
It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And when your identity is hacked, it's a nightmare. Hi everyone, Paul with Liberty ID. Did you know that children are 52 times more likely to suffer from identity theft than adults? Is your family prepared? Identity monitoring will not fix the fallout. Liberty ID does. Here's an exciting offer for listeners to this station. Go to libertyid.com and cover your entire family, your spouse, your children, and your parents for only $129 a year. That's right, $129 a year. Use promo code FREE TRIAL and we'll give you the first 60 days free. That's libertyid.com, promo code FREE TRIAL. Prepare your family for less than half what other companies charge for only monitoring. libertyid.com, promo code FREE TRIAL. libertyid.com, the name in identity theft restoration.
Well, our own Rebecca Mera takes us on a tour of the Olympic Village.
We have a full-size bed, lounge area, shower, plenty of space, which is great because I'm constantly having sex in there.
The Village is a temporary home to the world's most physically impressive athletic men and women. It was important to the Olympic Committee to give them a comfortable, state-of-the-art area to each other's brains out while they're not competing.
We have a pool where they can have a sex, a theater where they can have a sex. All these athletes are hot, horny, ready to go. They deserve the best.
I was in Vancouver where I got eaten out by this French speed skater. I have to say, these facilities are even better, and I'm going to try to a Japanese guy.
You've spared no expense.
These athletes deserve the best. They sacrifice so much for their countries. They deserve to be able to until their and can't take it anymore.
And these facilities won't go to waste. Once the Olympics are over, they'll be converted to a resort where Russian businessmen can come to their prostitutes.
This is the Onion News Network.
DVD, books, music, instruments, periodicals, computers, software, electronics, photo, cell phones, office products, home and garden, bed and bath, furniture, kitchen, pet supplies, automotive, hardware, apparel, shoes, jewelry, grocery, healthcare, sports and outdoors, toys, games, used, and more. It's a department store at your fingertips. Shop.freetalklive.com. Get all your shopping done, get a great deal, and a portion of your purchase goes to benefit Free Talk Live when you enter Amazon via shop.freetalklive.com.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We're talking about health. The we being me, Darryl, Jay, and Matt. And Matt, you're over there. You have mostly finished a salad. What all's in there? I saw some lettuce, or maybe it was kale.
No, it's broccoli.
Broccoli. I'd say all green vegetables look the same to me because I don't like the green veggies.
Oh, you're missing out.
Oh man, I love them. Kale's my favorite.
Good question, because again, you're munching on that while you're not on the air. But are you getting your 5 servings of fruit and vegetables every day? Is that something you're doing?
5 I don't know what constitutes a serving anymore, but I mean, I eat quite a few apples.
What about 10 servings? Are you getting 10 servings?
Absolutely not.
Only about 10% of people are getting 5 servings. Research shows you really need about 10. That's about a gallon of raw fruits and vegetables every day. Only about 1% of people are actually doing that. What's the prize? Because you always want to win a prize, right? What's the prize for getting 10 servings of fruits and vegetables every day? Well, you get protection against obesity, protection against heart disease, protection against type 2 diabetes, protection against cancer, plus enough antioxidants to neutralize all 5 known free radicals. Worthy goals, right? Well, I've been getting my 10 servings of fruits and vegetables without putting weird-shaped green things in my mouth because I cheat. And you can cheat along with me. So what I do is I put fruit and veggie total in my smoothies every morning. Comes from the same people that make Whole Food Multi-Complete. You can do this too. Again, we're cheating here, but we're getting healthy. So join me in this worthy goal of eating better, losing weight, living longer, and feeling better. Go to simplifymysupplements.com and get yourself some fruit and veggie total. And if you use coupon code FTL, you save 10%. Plus, they'll give you a free shaker bottle with your purchase. Simplifymysupplements.com, code FTL. And they take Bitcoin. Now, it's a different checkout experience, so you have to send them a message to place the order. But just use that code, FTL. Type that into the message that you send when you say, I want to buy some fruit and veggie total. And by the way, please apply code FTL, and they'll apply that code. Again, simplifymysupplements.com, code FTL.
That'd probably be a great idea for me because I don't get, the apple thing isn't consistent. This isn't consistent. Me eating this kind of food isn't consistent. But I tend to drink that V8 Fusion sometimes, but it's not consistent. If I had something that was simpler than that, maybe I'd be more likely to down it
every
more
morning
often.
I wind up making a somewhat complex smoothie. Not going to go into all of the steps on the air, but it does include
You just want to protect your
total. No, just because it winds up making for boring radio to tell the ingredients of here's what I put in my smoothie every morning. But I do include the fruit and veggie total, also include some fiber, locally produced honey, because if you're going to add honey into stuff, you want locally produced honey.
Sure do.
Because it winds up giving you, the local pollens and whatnot, and then you wind up not getting the hay fever or whatever it is. As the saying goes, I don't know the recipe. I'm just saying, I don't know exactly why it works. I just know it does. But Jay, there was something you wanted to touch on about the salt, I think it was.
So I buy and sell hay for a living, and one of my customers has a lab, and what they do with the lab is they draw blood from goats, sheep, llamas, and rabbits.
Okay.
And they draw this blood and they sell it to universities and stuff, and they spin it down or whatever. But so they're very particular about the hay, and they analyze and they test the hay all the time. Well,
what was there rabbit blood on the hay?
So in the wintertime, the roads up here in New England and New York and Vermont, which most of my hay comes from like New York, and then from New York I deliver a lot to Massachusetts. Like everything's covered in salt. You see the trucks running down the road; they're covered with salt all the time.
Right, because we wind up getting snow, and salt lowers the melting point of something, so that then the snow turns to water. And a lot of times they'll also, I know at least in New Hampshire, they'll add sand into the salt, so that it winds up giving a little bit of extra traction on that wet road.
Yeah, generally what to do, the sand is like 90% sand, 10% salt, because sand's a lot cheaper. So, and then on state highways, in Mass, you use straight salt almost. But on like the Mass Turnpike and the New York Thruway, the salt is just unbelievable. That they dump salt on the road when it's 45 degrees and raining. But anyways, so that salt actually has...
Well, they're not paying for it.
Sure. There's people, these contractors who own trucking companies, like their dream job is to get gigs hauling the salt because it just pays so well. But you better make sure that that all your employees contribute the maximum amount to whichever candidate. That is kind of the deal. Anyways, the salt actually has like formaldehyde in it. It has arsenic in it at like really, really high levels. That salt on the side that they use on the road. And they also they got a chemical called, I don't know if it's mag chloride or if it's calcium chloride. I forget which one, but it's like a liquid that they mix in with the salt as it's applied. And they are now they're calling it liquid salt. But so these guys test their hay. And so in the wintertime, when that guy gets delivered hay, it can't be hauled on an open truck. Because when they tested the hay, they're like, there's something wrong here, these animals, laboratory stuff. And what started happening is they started finding something like in the blood that was, as a result of this chemicals that are in the salt, because the animals had ate the hay with the salt. And I'll tell you what, when you pull where I park some of my equipment, there's cows out there loose. In the wintertime, my trailer or my truck will be licked clean.
Oh, yeah. Cows love licking salt.
It literally, you can see as far as the cows can reach up the side of it, they got like sandpaper tongues, and, they're like, scruffing all over it. And you don't park anything out there with a nice paint job.
Right.
But they lick it up. But when these laboratory animals actually would eat this hay with the salt on it, they had some issues. So it actually has to be hauled.
Well, what issues could they possibly have? Every time the snow melts, the deer are out there eating the
issues is quality control, because what they do is they actually inoculate like the goat with some kind of virus, and then the goat's given a couple weeks to build.
This is scientific.
This is a science lab. I'm not saying like the horses and stuff. I mean, the horses aren't really for human consumption. Cows, I guess it could be an issue with, because cows, pigs would be a big issue. I mean, pigs will eat anything.
Yeah.
Because they can't excrete really a lot of the chemicals and stuff. But there's some really toxic stuff in the salt that they put on the road, and it has to do with the magnesium chloride or the calcium chloride. I can't remember which one it is. But like this salt is just it comes out of like these salt mines all around the Finger Lakes of New York, and that's why. You see, pretty much all the dump trucks and big dump trailers, that are running eastbound from New York to Massachusetts or New York to New England are all hauling salt. In fact, they haul salt all over the place, and then they but it's crazy all salt that comes out of New York, and then they put it through this they add chemicals to it, and I had a load of hay rejected once because hey, I can't have any salt on my hay, and lab reports and all this, that, and everything. So and then salt can definitely be an issue.
Yeah, certainly. And then, add into not just the health benefits, but also, since you had mentioned they're putting it on the roads, all of the rust that winds up happening. Yeah. And, that causes problems for the vehicles, which is one reason why state governments wind up saying, this is why we need vehicle inspections, because otherwise people would be driving around with, rusty something that's just going to fall apart when it hits one of our potholes that we've not fixed.
Let's not forget about the marshlands and stuff, because all that stuff seeps right into the roadside swamps and the water, the aquifers, and ends up in the water.
Yeah, it changes the salinity of the water, and it's tough on the local habitat, especially because it's not sea salt. Some of these marshlands that are out around Cape Cod and stuff is right on the side of the road. This is no salt or low salt in use. But that salt is not the same as what's in the salt water. It's comes from mines deep under the ground.
Darryl, I dare you to lick it.
How much you paying? We'll discuss it off the air. And you can always join us online. We'll be back tomorrow, but again, you can join us online all the time at freetalklive.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs